Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, oh boy, we got a very interesting episode for you guys here today that you definitely don't want to miss. So make sure you go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, the NBA has some enforcers that are very well known. And most of these, and one of the most known, or one of the best known enforcers out there, is the Miami Heat's Udonis Haslem. I'm sure a good amount of you can remember a few weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago, the classic sideline exchange that he had with Jimmy Butler earlier this season, where he basically told Jimmy Butler, "I'll beat your you-know-what. I'll beat your you-know-what." And I think the reason he got so heated at Jimmy Butler was, I think, because he publicly tried to show out his coach and pretty much try to embarrass the coach. That is not something that you do on the sideline. If it's something that happens in practice or in the locker room, that's something that can be handled internally. But I felt like Udonis Haslem, who is the elder statesman on that team, and I think he's the oldest player in the NBA as we speak, I think he took major exception to that. And he said, hey, wait a minute. I've been here. I was here longer than you. And I'm on the team to make sure that the culture is enforced every single day. And if it means if I have to put these paws on you, to use Shannon Sharp's term, I will do that. And he was making a public, he was advancing towards Jimmy Butler. And I think Udonis Haslem would have had no problem doing that first. Tough as Jimmy Butler is, you see him with in certain exchanges, like, I'm tough. You see him scuffle with Dwight Howard. Seems like a very, very strong guy. Udonis Haslem looked like he wasn't interested in any of that. And he was going to let you know what he thought. And he would, in a physical way, had it, if it needed to come to that. So we all know we all know who he is now. But there's another enforcer in the NBA who plays on the Golden State Warriors, and he's a bit more animated. And that guy is Draymond Green, right? Draymond Green is the backbone, and he's the heartbeat of the Golden State Warriors. There's no question about this, right? He is the Swiss Army knife for that team. So I think this is undisputed. And Draymond Green was recently on NBA on TNT after the Golden State Warriors had advanced to the NBA Finals. And at the time, the Boston Celtics were up 3-2 on the Miami Heat, to give you guys some context. So he went up there and Shaq asked him, he said, who are you guys looking forward to face in the finals, and who do you want to face? And this is what Draymond Green had to say. So take a listen to what Draymond Green had to say on NBA on TNT. Take a listen to that.
Still undetermined who you're going to play in the next round. Who would you like to play?
I mean,
be honest.
I think both teams are tough. Boston causes problems, especially offensively.
Draymond.
Their defense is incredible.
How long we been boys, Draymond? I want the honest answer, Draymond.
You're asking me who I want to play. I'm gonna tell you who I think we're gonna play. We're gonna play Boston.
Okay,
that's who we're gonna play.
Thank you. That's the Draymond I know.
We're gonna play Boston.
That's the Draymond I know.
So that is what Draymond Green said. And he basically said that, listen, we're going to be playing the Boston Celtics. And he said, Draymond, he said it in a very emphatic way. And as I said before, to give it some context, the Boston Celtics were up 3-2 at that time. So what happened? Going into Game 6 yesterday in Boston, I actually thought that the Boston Celtics were going to close them out. And I think a lot of people thought that the Boston Celtics were going to close them out. But what did they do? They went up in there and they ended up winning Game 6 to force a Game 7. And after that win, emotions were running very, very high, especially on the Miami Heat side. And according to a report from Chris Haynes from Yahoo Sports, who does an excellent job, Udonis Haslem had the following to say about Draymond Green. So let me just read this article here, because I think this is just fantastic and it's hilarious. Udonis Haslem, Draymond Green broke the code, saying Warriors would face Celtics in NBA Finals. The article continues on. Boston Miami Heat longtime forward Udonis Haslem took acceptance to Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green, stating that the Western Conference champs will end up facing the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Led by Jimmy Butler's 47 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 steals, the Heat shocked the basketball community by stealing Game 6 on Friday to extend the series to Game 7 on Sunday in Miami. Green made the remark on TNT inside the NBA post-game show Thursday night following the Warriors defeating the Dallas Mavericks in 5 games. Draymond broke the code, Haslem told Yahoo Sports after the Heat's 111-103 victory. You ain't supposed to say that type of bleep like that. That's disrespectful. He know better than that. The article continues on. Shaquille O'Neal asks Green on Inside the NBA, who would he like to face in the NBA Finals? And the all-defensive second-team member proceeded to break down the strengths of each team in each conference. I'm going to tell you who I think we're going to play. We're going to play Boston. Green responded, that's who we're going to play. He let Shaq pressure him into saying that bleep. He ain't got no business saying that, Haslem told Yahoo Sports. I didn't sleep much after he said that. That was some BS. And it continues on. I don't know what part of the game is that. PJ Tucker told Yahoo Sports of Green's comments, a player picking a team before they're out, that's crazy, bro. And basically, Haslem finished off saying, we're going home for game 7. Haslem told Yahoo Sports, we did that. We did what we were supposed to do. Don't ever count us out. So that's basically what he had to say there. And there's a clip floating around in the internet where Udonis Haslem basically said to the crew covering the game, tell Draymond Green, you lit a fire under our butt or whatever it is. So according to what Mark Jackson had to say. So that's what he had to say. Now, let me just first say this. As I said before, I thought the Celtics were going to win, so I stand corrected, especially after how the Miami Heat performed in Game 5. For God's sakes, the Heat were held to 80 points in Game 5. Kyle Lowry finished the game with 0 points. And Jimmy Butler finished the game with 13 points, and the Miami Heat ended up shooting 15% from the three-point line that game. So you can't blame people for thinking that the series was over, right? So that's that. Now, I think the major difference here, however, is this. Draymond Green saying that on television came off as extremely disrespectful to the opponent, and I think that is what Udonis Haslem took exception with as it pertains to Draymond Green. If the Warriors had said that behind closed doors or in their locker room, that would be one thing. But to step out in a public forum and express those feelings, I think it was very disrespectful. And I think what happened was it lit a fire under the Miami Heat, which literally happened. I think it was also one of the reasons, if you guys remember properly, a few weeks ago, heading into the playoffs, Bruce Brown publicly came out and said some things about the Boston Celtics being banged up or whatever it is. I'm going to take advantage of this and this and this and this. I think it was because of their center. Their center was out. And KD, when pretty much asked about it, during a post-game interview, he said, don't come out there and be saying that, bro. There's no need to be saying all of that. There's no need to be talking about your opponent like that. What you need to do is focus on what you're doing, and you don't need to be adding additional fuel to the fire. That's what Kevin Durant had to say, and he essentially publicly scolded Bruce Brown for coming out there and saying that. And what ended up happening, I'm sure the Boston Celtics used that as some type of bulletin board material, and y'all know what happened. They played them, and then they got swept basically in the first round. So I think Udonis Haslem would have had no problem if Draymond Green said that in the confines of his locker room or of his practice facility. But for him to come out in a public forum and say that, I think that's what he thought was extremely, extremely disrespectful to the competition and a lit a fire under the Miami Heat. No pun intended. So the question to you guys is, what do you think about what Udonis Haslem had to say? And ultimately, do you think that the Heat will come back and win this series and go to the NBA Finals? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.